As the temperature warms up, reptiles and amphibians come out of hibernation. We went on an adventure to try and find some amazing amphibians and anything else we could turn up in southern Wisconsin.
Hey everybody, we're out here looking for some really cool salamanders. So we're going to be headed towards some water and we're going to be flipping logs to see if we can find them, and also looking for anything else we can find in this cool forest habitat.
Our top target for the day was the blue-spotted salamander, a species that can be found by looking under downed logs and leaf litter. We began the process of flipping, but at first didn't find much.
Nothing so far. Some big worms.
Eventually, we got to the best area to look for salamanders, a place in the forest where water had pooled up.
The ponds that we're looking around today are called ephemeral ponds, which means they're not always actually there. They're created by a lot of runoff as winter turns into spring, and they can just pop out of the forest in a little bit lower areas. So these are really important for a lot of different animals to live in. The salamanders will breed in them, the frogs will live and breed in them. And so if you ever find one of these ephemeral ponds, it's a good idea to look around because you might come up with some cool creatures.
While walking around the ephemeral pond, we got on the board with a reptile sighting.
Hey buddy! Ooh, a nice, beautiful garter snake here. He is all warmed up. This one I feel like has some extra browns on the side. It's calming down, there we go. So now that it's spring, I've been seeing a lot more garter snakes out and about, and this one is probably looking for similar stuff that we are. Probably looking for salamanders to eat, little frogs, anything that it can fit in its mouth. And if you find them when it's cold, they might be very still, but as soon as they start to warm up, they're up and moving. So this one's calmed down a little bit. We'll let it go here so it can continue on its way to find some food.
After releasing the snake that looked happy to be able to go about its business, we went back to flipping logs. And not too much time later, we found a blue-spotted salamander.
Alright, we finally got a blue-spotted salamander. It is kind of hidden under the leaves here, but it was under this big log. That's our grail find for the day, the blue-spotted salamander. Probably one of the prettiest salamanders in my opinion. And we have eastern tiger salamanders over here. We have spotted, but the one that I see most frequently is the blue-spotted here, and they're on the smaller side, but one of the most beautiful ones in my opinion that you can find in the Midwest, and a good one to find by these ephemeral ponds.
Blue-spotted salamanders are actually a species that can be found across the Great Lakes regions and in the Northeast and parts of Canada. What's interesting about them is they spend the early part of their life as a larva in the water, and then when they're adults they'll emerge from the water and then find spots under logs and debris in damp forests. And they're actually nocturnal, so they'll come out during the nighttime, especially when it's a little more rainy outside, to hunt for food like worms and other invertebrates. It's a really unique little creature, common in Wisconsin, but in other parts of the range they're a little harder to find and a species of concern in some areas.
We released the salamander and took a closer look at the nearby pond, finding a new amphibian species for the day.
Chorus frog. You can actually find these away from water, and they're a species you'll often hear singing, and then when you get close to the pond they'll stop. So it's really rare that I actually encounter them in the water. And so this was a pretty cool experience. I have a feeling there's a lot more of them around here that we're just not seeing.
We moved away from the pond and toward a drier part of the forest. There, we found another blue-spotted salamander.
Got our second blue-spotted of the day, and this one's actually further away from the water. So I was kind of surprised we got it here. We had a lot of rains last night, so maybe they've been moving around a little bit, but we got two for the day.
One thing that we tried to make sure we were doing during that whole interaction is getting our hands wet and then keeping them wet. Amphibians have a slime coating that needs to stay intact for them to be as healthy as possible. So we just made sure to keep the hands wet, and if you're ever dealing with amphibians, it's a good idea to do the same as well. And then when we released them, we put the log down first and then let the salamander crawl under. It's always dangerous if you put them down and then try to put the log on top because you don't know how that's going to match up. So just a couple tips if you're dealing with amphibians and especially salamanders.
Feeling great about how the day was shaping up, we continued on the trail, enjoying the buzz in the air.
Spring is such an awesome time of the year. You can just feel the energy in the air from all of the trees that are growing leaves, from all the animals that are coming out of hibernation and migrating. It's always a special time, and being out on these really pleasant days in the woods looking for salamanders is just a perfect thing to do this time of year.
We eventually got to an area with many more blue-spotted salamanders.
Is he cold?
Yeah, they're always cold. It's funny because I'm like, I should get the dirt off him. He probably doesn't like that. And then I'm like, he lives in the dirt. He actually loves it. And the reason that we're gonna pick these up when we flip them is I don't want to put the log back on top of them and squish them. If we're gonna lift it up, I want him to be able to make his own little area back in there. He's so
Wow,
cold.
look at that one.
Now this is what we like to call an absolute unit. Hey buddy. He was probably out last night hunting some worms or slugs. It looks like he's nice and chunky. It's a good sign.
I mean, he looks so much bigger. Wow, yeah, that's like double the size, I think.
Like he had a good meal.
Yeah, I think he had a couple good meals. He's a beast.
It's really great. It's nice to find them in this environment. That means that the ecosystem is doing pretty good here.
Here we have blue spotted salamander number 5. I was just appreciating how much they can kind of curve their bodies. They have some of these crazy shapes you'll find them in when they wedge themselves under these logs. But we're just gonna appreciate this one for a little bit. It is quite a bit smaller than the last one we got, and he is warming up, so he's gonna be on the move, and we'll put him back under his log here. They do try to wedge between your fingers. They're looking for some way to burrow. So here he goes.
Feeling like our experience was pretty much as good as we could have asked for, we called it a day and headed out. Reptiles and amphibians are always fun to see, and this time of the year provides the best chance to find them and appreciate them for the amazing creatures they are. If you like this video, take a look at another one of our videos on animals and nature. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Nature.